Okay, let's hope all my settings saved from last time. All right, let's try this again. Take two, because my controller stopped working last time. First off, we're gonna skip this one just because you guys won pretty well. So we'll go into the second game, which this game we should have got the dub here. So this was a very important game at this point. Give her a look. All right. This is gonna be interesting to do all three people at once, but let's look at this here. So I think first off, let me double check this kickoff here. Stuff looks good. Perfect. That's an unfortunate whiff from Witch Doctor here. Let's look at his perspective. I think at this point you're just trying to go a little bit too fast. Slow yourself down a little bit more here and wait for the play to see what happens. Then you can leap. That should have been a goal there, unfortunately. All right, let's see this. Good play. It's fine. Try to beat him to that. Nice touch. Where did Witch Doctor come from? Oh, it was a good try. So this, if we look back at this, let's see. You got 35 boost here. Use it all right about there, and you're not picking up any more pads. So then at that point, you're 0 boost when you need to go for this. So being a little bit more mindful not to use boost at this point in time, and to also make sure that you're picking up pads along the way too. We'll make sure that you're able to get to this one next time. And that's the reason why that one got missed, unfortunately. And let's see this again. Unfortunate touch. I think you could have gotten a bit of a better touch on this. You were in a pretty decent spot. Maybe just... no, I think you're in a perfect spot. This is just an unfortunate touch. At this point, you got to turn back. Perfect.
So, what should I have done for the touch here, you think?
The sort of touch you'd want to be looking for at this point is you just want it like flat on the ground. You don't want any bounces at all. You want to just catch it and basically bring it up to this wall. Try to get a 50 this way. And that's really, I think that's really the only thing you can do at this point. But just unfortunately, this touch bounced a lot, and because of that, now it's bouncing inwards for them, and you're in a bad spot too. So.
Right.
Fortunately, just worked out perfectly for him. Right here, I think this is just comms at this point. And maybe being a bit more patient, too. For one, I think Notorix, this positioning was a little tiny bit too far in. Because as you can see, he was like driving towards the near post here. If he was a little bit further out, like driving towards the back post, or even like driving towards this section, driving for this back boost here, the angle for this ball is a lot better versus up here. So you're making it a little bit hard on yourself by coming this far in to try to get this ball. If you're a little bit further out here, a long ball like this should be easy for you to go for, and also as well, there needs to be comms here at this moment, because last time you see Notorix, he's on the left side rotating back. So right here you can see him turn out, and he's rotating back at this point. So you need to keep in mind he's behind you. So when you see a ball like this, there has to be pretty decent comms at this point to decide who's going for this. Because I think, from your perspective, you don't see him, which is completely fair. But from Notoric's perspective, he needs to both call you off, and he needs to go for this ball and hit it.
Okay.
Which seems to be what happens, but in a perfect world, we avoid you having to go up and knowing a lot sooner that that you don't need to go for this.
Okay.
And as you can see, you made it a little bit hard. You made it a little bit hard for yourself here, and wasn't able to get the best touch in this moment. So I think that comes down to the positioning right before this aerial, where you're just a little bit too close in towards the middle of the field. Okay. Good, get a 50. Nice. Let's look at this here again. So let's see from... Good choice. Yeah, so I don't think this is anybody's fault particularly, because like the last time you see you see Witch Doctor is he's turning in. So what I do from your perspective, Bolts, here is just take a little bit of a further circle outward. Because you know that
Right.
he's going to be at the back post, so you don't need to be there immediately. So you just want to make sure you're not bumping into him, so going a bit further out. Here, he kind of did turn into your path as well, so it's not necessarily 100% your fault. Really, Witch Doctor should be rotating around this section here, where he's right next to the post. So not really a singular person to blame for this one.
Right. I could have avoided it too, kind of thing.
Yeah, he could have avoided you. You could have avoided him. Let's see this play. That's good. Low boost. You know what? It's actually a really good play. It's actually a really good play. I think what happened here is just... I mean, I didn't really see it coming either. But if you were able to read that, this would have been really nice.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that I could say here is make sure to give your teammate a little bit more space, just because like you're really close to him at this point in time. Just backing up a little bit further, giving him that space and trusting him. Even if he loses the ball, you're giving him enough space to try and make a play still. So if you're a little bit further back, you might have been able to see this and try to read it in time. But I think because you got so close to him, you weren't ready for another play that he was able to make.
Right.
Still ends up pretty well though. This could have been a shot on frame, as we can see here as well. Let's look at the boost here. So 32 boost, uses a little bit there. Got 1 penny. You know, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. I think you could have maybe gotten this penny, maybe this one, maybe even gone for this one too. That's iffy. I still think you could have gotten this on frame. If you just had one more penny here, man, I think you could have got it. If we look here, yeah, okay. That's just rough. That's just rough in general overall, but I'd say you have 47 boost here, and you used a little bit here when you didn't really need to. So that was kind of a little bit of wasted boost. That might have been the amount you needed there. Just got to be a little bit more mindful of that. But that's really picky at that point. Still good to know for, though. It was a good try. So then right here... Let me see this again. Let me see this. Yeah, just make sure... Like I like that you're taking a path here, but like go forward, get this, and then turn this way and try to find a path here, like this boost pad, then you can get this boost pad and turn in this far post and get in there. Because this is something that happens a lot, is where you're going towards the near post. So like look at where you're putting yourself. You're not rotating behind to give support to Bolts if or when he needs it. Let's look at Networks as well here. Okay, so let's look from this play. It's fine. Good. Be a little careful there. Honestly, just rotate out at this point. When the ball's over your head like this, you can see that your teammate Bolts is to the right. So from there, you know he's going to have a lot better angle than you will. So it's actually safer for you to rotate out and go behind him and let him go for the ball instead. So let him push into the corner from here, and then you could fill in behind him. And that's going to give him a better angle, and it also gives him support for his push as well. So... Great save, by the way, there.
Thank you.
I think we actually had quite a few good saves here in these games. Let's look at this. So I might need a third-person perspective here. So we just got done with an awkward play at this point in time. Yeah, so awkward play done here. Now we kind of have like all 3 people pushing up. Okay, we're fine because Notorix realized that and he pushed back. Perfect. Okay, we're all in good spots. Good stuff. Just want to double check that. Nice, and hopefully Witch Doctor should be back post at this point, which he is. Perfect. It's fine. I would not flip across here. I would sit at the back post here. There's no need for you to be going for any of these balls because both your teammates are in front of you. So... By flipping, you're just putting yourself in a bad spot. Of course, unfortunately, you get demoed, but if you did complete that flip, you would be at the near post, and you want to be defending the far post from that point in time. Also, I think you were a little bit heavy on the boost there in this section here, because you went from 86 boost here all the way down to like 20 something, all the way down to 17, which that's a lot of boost to use for moving from there back to here. That's a lot of boost to use, so a little bit heavy there at that point. That's fine. Rotate towards the back post here. Good. Yeah, I'd be a little bit careful pushing in too far here. For one, I'd like a little bit closer to the net here, and then for two, at this point, I would probably wait here, see what he does, then you could push the ball right here.
Oh, okay.
So being a little bit more patient there when the ball's in the corner and you know that they're going to be hitting it. Because when you come in here, basically, you just make it a lot easier for you to be beat here. And unfortunately, Witch Doctor spawns in the way. Nothing we could do about that. Let's just hope that Netorks is where he needs to be as well. We'll check this out. Good saving your boost here. Good getting that. I don't like this. At least this is fine. This is fine right now, I should say. But I think you were just a little bit too quick to go to the front post. Like, stick in the back post a little bit further. Now you see this, now you can go, you know. But in all fairness, actually, I'm pretty sure this saved you from a goal, so. It worked out fine, it worked out fine. But then again, in a perfect world, Bolt sits back a little bit further and is able to get this ball instead of Yo. So, in a perfect world, you know, sometimes that's how it be. Good try.
That would be.
Yeah, I'd be careful here. I'd get a little quick check to the right, because one of your teammates just got demoed here, so you don't know which side he's spawning on. So right here, when the ball goes to the right side, he could be spawning on the back right, and therefore, this is probably a better ball for him to go for. So I'd do a quick check with your stick to see if he's there. Works out fine, though. Okay. Nice. That was a good try. Could have had that. That was close. I think you were up a little bit early here, and that's about it. I mean, it was a pretty good play. You could have still had it, so. Let's look at this here. Let's look in third-person camera, because this is where we get scored on here. So Notorious going back. Okay, he's getting boost pads good. At this point, it gets over him. Ooh, okay. So this is probably positioning and defense here. For one, unfortunate on this read. I know you're trying to read it center, but yeah, that's just straight up unfortunate. Kind of low boost here. Let's look at Torix. Yeah, I mean, at that point you just got to get that ball. Yeah, you needed to go right there. You needed to be on the ball before it went off the back wall here. That's a pretty tough spot, though. It's just unfortunate on the miss, and then unfortunate on the read from Bolts. And then, again, quite a difficult situation to be back last, but got to get there. All right, let's go third person. Let's see the kickoff strats. Perfect, that's fine.
Oh, I should have went back post, probably.
We'll see. I'll look at your perspective first, and we'll see. I think I actually would have liked you to go more for this boost here, steal the mid boost.
Oh, okay.
The reason that is that if this person is coming forward here, so if we look at Brian here, he's probably full boost, but you could just steal that little bit more boost from him, you know.
Right.
And especially because, like, just right off a kickoff, nobody really needs you here at this point in time. So what you're doing when you're going in the corner here is you're, one, boost starving yourself, two, killing your momentum, three, putting yourself in a bad spot, and you're giving them that free boost in the corner. So best to just prioritize boost here.
Okay.
Let's see, I think the torque's back. Okay, sweet. This is your ball to go for. Good. Good try. That's what I like. Let's see how Witch Doctor got here. Yes, this I don't like at all. Instead of going here and like trying to get forward for one of these balls, just go straight back post. I don't think there's any scenario, no matter what happens here, where you should be trying to cut in for any reason at all. I mean, unless like the ball is freely flying out into the center here and you know you have to touch it before somebody shoots, that would be a good scenario to go in. But with a ball like this here, you don't really know who's touching it. Your best spot is to get straight to this back post as quick as possible. Because you go so far forward, now this ball is really awkward for you and you can't really get a good clear out from here. Nice touchdown, that's fine. Ooh, this is a great save from Witch Doctor. Absolutely insane. Let's look at this here again. So start from bolts here. Ooh, what was that? Okay. So this rotation needs to go out a little bit further. So you just cut in straight this way. Instead of that, move it a little bit more to the left, get these 3 boost pads here, and then turn in.
Okay.
That's what you want instead at that point. I think you could have got this. I think you're just a little bit slow on the read here. I think even though he hit that, I think you still could have got it.
Yeah.
And that just might have been reflexes too. No big deal on that one. Ooh. Okay, so you landed here. I think this is a little bit too far inwards. Like, if we look here, this is actually not the worst thing in the world, but I think you could get on a lot better of a boost path. Like, aim for this path right here, where you get these 3, and this extra one right here, that might be what you do. No, you cut in for this one, so that makes it a little bit more awkward. You're, like, weaving a lot more and cutting your momentum down. Just go straight through this one and straight to these 3, and then back post. Yeah, don't turn out like this. I wouldn't turn out. I'd stay going back. Let your teammate who is behind you go first instead. Ooh, this is just really unfortunate. And I think the reason that he was able to get past for you stems from you turning out there. Now, when you needed to be back post right here, you weren't there, and now you have to try to scramble to get to that point. And because of that, he's able to get around you. Witch Doctor with a crazy save. Absolutely nutty. That's good. I like that. It's awesome. Good. It's fine. I wouldn't dive in here. Just be slow. That's a great challenge. Let's see, Netorix. So for one, this positioning is not really good at all. You're in the awkward spot where you don't really know what you're doing. Bolt's behind you. He's in the perfect spot. He's right where he needs to be. Netorix, you need to be over here instead. You need to be sitting right here, and you need to be waiting for anything to happen. Whether the ball goes like across, now you could be there. If the ball goes up here, then you could go there. But this is a lot better angle. If we look at what happens next here, if we look at this scenario, like this angle, you'd be able to realize that he's going to get it before you, and you shouldn't go for it. Because I don't think if you're from here, you should be going for this aerial at all, because he obviously has the beat at that point. But let's see what you see from your perspective here. Yeah, it's a little bit harder to read because, you know, the opponent's in the bottom right of your screen instead of closer to the center. So for this position, it's a little bit harder to read that you can't go for this. This is a good play from Bolts here, not to go in. Don't dive in. I would have liked if you were able to steal that mid boost just to make sure that you didn't give the opponent any boost, but that's just minor details here. Good flip. That's perfect. That's fine. Get that boost. Perfect. I'd be careful going too quick in here because Witch Doctor's with you now. So I think you do realize that, but I think it's a little bit too late. You could be a little bit sooner in realizing that you want to let your teammate go instead.
Right.
But you do realize eventually, and that's what matters. And what matters most. That's unfortunate. It was a good try. If it did bounce, that would have been good. But he got a really good touch on that, so. Okay, Netorix got demoed. See this here. Little bit iffy turn. I'd personally instead, like, I think you kind of went the right way here. Not at this point, but you went the right way going this way. And then from here, like, you could decide whether or not you want to turn or not. Honestly, I wouldn't recommend turning at all here. Even from this point, like, I'd wait for him to get that touch, and now at this point, I'd get this mid boost, and I'd just rotate back. Let whoever else spawn behind you, like Netorix, go for it. Like, basically, you're just trying to show a presence, so you're not giving him full space. but you're not necessarily diving in either, so you're trying to afford time for your teammate to get this ball. Because right here, right about at this point, this should be Netork's ball. And really, you should jump from the wall and go for this. I do also think it is a mistake to put yourself on the wall here. You're in a good spot at this point. Try to maybe wait here, and then from here you could take the aerial instead of going off the wall. But it is possible off the wall too, so not horrible that way either. Getting a touchdown here is perfectly fine. Awesome. Good communication between you two. Nice stuff. Let's see what happened here. See, this is another one of those scenarios again. This is very reflective of earlier where the ball was up in the air here. You were rotating back, and then you kind of like cut your rotation to be an offense here. Instead, I'd say just straight up finish your rotation back, and then you could push forward again. A lot of mistakes that I sometimes see around the champ rigs is like not finishing your rotations all the way. And this is one of those scenarios where you already have two teammates on the ball. So you might as well just rotate back and be that third man, because you turning in like this, it puts you all in a line here instead. And as you can see, like this whole entire time, there's not really any play that you could be making here. So you're better off to just be behind. I'd take this down. I don't think there's a reason why you need to be jumping up for this ball. It was a good first touch. It could have been a little bit better. Maybe if you were a little bit worried of somebody coming, you could do a quick check to the left with your stick to see if anybody was there. But I think you could have taken a touchdown at the very least here instead.
Okay.
It's fine, though. Good try. Let's see this again here. Got his boost. I don't hate you going for this. I don't hate it at all. I think the positioning was a little bit weird. Like when you cut in field here, you kind of put yourself in a weird spot. But I mean, you know, that's just unfortunate. I don't think there's really anything different. Like maybe in hindsight, you could rotate this way, and then you could cut in and try to get a shot like over this side. Maybe Bolt's turns to get the boost. You could hit him to the left corner, or maybe you went further to the right side and maybe been able to catch it. I don't know. I just think you just got unlucky with this position at this point. Not really too much you can do there. But not bad to go for it, because you know you have teammates back. This is one of those points where you just want to, I'd say after you went like over here, if you saw this boost get stolen ahead of you, then you should probably just cut out at that point and go back post. If you think the boost is going to spawn, you just want to run over it real quick. You need to go over it, then you need to cut here and go inside. I don't think you should be going back towards the mid boost at all. It's like if you think it's going to spawn, run over it, then go towards the mid. But yeah, this mid boost is not for you. And now that just ends up with one, an awkward rotation towards near post, and you don't have any boost too. So kind of puts you in a really bad spot there overall. So just make sure you rotate out of the play. Nice. Good. Give it a try. Perfect. Let's see. Which star should be here? Perfect. Great play. Netork's, I like it. Awesome. Absolutely awesome. It's well played from you guys, too. That was beautiful right here. Nice beat right here. Perfect. Getting the boost. I really like the cut here because you saw that Bolts was going back. So now you know you're free to go for this. It's awesome. Well played. Well played. I'll see what happens here just in case. Double check this out. Nice, nice. Way to stay back. Perfect. Awesome play, boys. Awesome play. Nice kickoff. Good. Perfect. A little bit iffy here. Let's look at this from his perspective. That's a tough call. That's a tough call because I feel like either Bolt or Netork's like could have got to this. Maybe it was better that they both turned off. Because I mean, I would turn off too if I saw Netork's coming from the side, looking like he was gonna go for it. So. Mm-hmm. And then as Netork's as well, I think he probably could have got to it, but he also didn't want to cut you off either. So. You know, that's perfectly fair. Nothing we could really do on that, you know. I think turning off is the right decision for you both. So, in a perfect world, though, we'd have comms enough that one person is still able to go and one is able to stay back. But that's extremely hard in the moment. Nice beats here. Get a 50. Nice. Let's see where everybody else was at here. Good. Good. This positioning I like. What happened to Witch Doctor here? Yeah. So this is. No reason to be on the back wall here at all. And really, I think actually personally here, from this situation here, Netorix should be filling in towards center, and then Witch Doctor should be filling in towards where Netorix is at this very moment. So Netorix should go forward in the mid, and then Witch Doctor should be right here instead, going forward. So then Netorix would be here for this ball. That's unfortunate. Because he really, like, that's an easy read for him. He should be hitting it, but he just goes for boost instead. It was a good fake, actually. I don't like this turn here at all. Reason that is for one, of course, he obviously has you beat. But I think the biggest thing is that you're already rotating out, and you don't have enough boost to go for this. So at this point, you got to accept your losses, just flip back and get this mid boost instead. And let Witch Doctor go at this point here. Let's look at this again. It's like you have 36 boosts here. And let's see. You got 1 pad, 2 pad, 3 pad, 4 pad. I mean, you're pretty good on the pads, but the problem is, like, you're doing all this weaving for the pads for one. But then the biggest problem is you're using a lot of boost while you're doing this weaving. So you're killing your momentum by the weaving, and then you're using a lot of boost because of that weaving to keep your momentum. So it's just not a good combination. There needs to be a lot more flow for when you grab those boost pads. A lot more one directional and a lot less of tapping that boost. Because, I mean, unfortunately, you just didn't have enough boost to make any plays here. Like, I think literally if you didn't use any boost, just going down this straight line, you'd have 60 boost if you just drove straight. Instead, you use all your boost, and you're, like, collecting your, like, the same amount of pads. Actually, you're collecting more pads, but the problem is you're using so much boost, you have less boost than when you started. Like, could have just kept your boost, drove in a straight line, and would have had more. And would have been where you needed to be, too. Because that's unfortunate. You could have made a good play off of this one. You still almost did. Like, this would have been sick if this actually went in, but that was a great save from them. Yeah, I think this is just unfortunate. I mean, that's a touch I wouldn't expect either, but in just foresight, probably don't want to jump for this. I'm not saying that it's fair to think that you would recognize in this moment not to jump. That was a very weird touch from Witch Doctor, so I wouldn't even be able to read this either, but in a perfect world, don't jump for this, you know? I mean, what can you do? Yeah, be careful going for that. Good choice. Great demo. Good pop. Get an air dribble here. It's just some mechanics. I like the thought, though. You did everything right at this point. And actually, one thing you could even do here is you saw that the person on the right turned off. So what you could do is you could jump once, but then fake that you're doing an air dribble or something and let it go back to the ground, and then from there you could get a play from that instead.
Oh, you're right.
And I think that would be a lot more. You'd have a lot more chance to score from that. It's like just a little jump here, faking it, and then you could go back down and then make a play from that. That's what I would do in this situation. Because, like, if you're in the air like that, they're going to think you're going for it, so they're going to give you space and time. And you can take it back down, get that little bit closer to the goal, and then you can try to make a play out of that.
Right.
Let's see. That's unfortunate. That's just a whiff. Happens sometimes. I'd be careful cutting in too far here, because if we look... Well, I mean, we don't even have to look away. Like, we already see our teammates in front of us, but you're pretty close up and you're last man. So instead of there, you need to be, like, back here instead, you know? are able to get to this first, though, so that's nice. But unfortunately, just goes to him. I think in this situation, you just got to get a strong touch forward. Although I do like the idea of trying to keep it close. I think the touch was just a little bit off, you know. I think you had a good idea, which is completely fair. This rotation back. Yeah, so let's see this. Ooh. Miss here. Just, I guess you're trying to go for the ball, but I think you should prioritize getting back at this point in time. And if you are prioritizing getting back, just turn right and find a line and go back post, you know. For Witch Doctor here, I think this way of rotation for Witch Doctor is perfectly fine because he's out of the play. Netorix ends up crossing a little bit, so you could go around instead and be wide. Nice demo. Yeah, that's just unfortunate. I don't think there was any way in the world that you could get to this, but it was a good play from Netorix. This is a bit iffier. I'd say right here, you need to prioritize getting the mid boost. And then from there, I wouldn't say you even want to go for this. Like, just being here at this position is going to make him flick it away. Then after this touch, you could drive away and let your teammate come in and get it instead. So that'll put you back. It'll put you a lot more boost. And you'll also be behind your teammates, so you're able to defend as well. This is a bad spot to go in. Great touch from Bolts, though. I would have liked... I guess another thing that moves from Netorix things, if Netorix was back here... actually, maybe that's a bit iffier. Because, I mean, I would have said that maybe Witch Doctor would have been able to been forward for this, but I don't think that's the case. Really, the only problem on this is, like, it's just unfortunate that not everybody was up, because I think we could have gotten a goal from this. Honestly, I think if Bolts went for this, you could have gotten a touch, too, so maybe you were able to go for this, but, I mean, in a perfect world, one of your teammates was here, too, so it's not necessarily a bad choice not to go for it, because one of your teammates could have been on that. I'd be a little bit, so there's just 1 point here. You just got the full boost, and now let's look at the usage here. You go from 100... You use all the way to 62, which that's quite a lot. That's a little bit heavy on the boost there. You could have used a flip instead and saved some of that boost. Also, I think you cut in a little bit too early here. Like, you're just a little bit too far up at this point. It's feeling a little bit awkward in this situation from everybody here, so let's see where the rotation should have been. So Netorix should go for this, good. I think that's just iffy overall. It worked itself out. I think it's just one of those scenarios where things are just a little bit awkward, but everything worked itself out just fine, so we're good. Netorix here, you need to go back post. And this seems to be the third time that as a team we've had the same thing happen where we're like turning in mid to go forward. If you're rotating back in defense, you need to finish that rotation unless you're like receiving a pass from somebody. Or the ball's like spilling out towards you and you know for a fact you're first to it and have to touch it. That's a good save though. So when you're rotating out, finish that rotation. Good patience on that, by the way, not joining him in the corner when you don't have to. I think you just got a little bit too close, so this kind of iffy. Let's look at the positioning here. I don't know. I think it's just unfortunate in the fact that you had to turn for it. If you were a little bit further back, maybe you would have had a little bit better, but That's kind of just straight up foresight at this point. I don't know if you could have read that. Yeah. That's fine. It's just a little bit unfortunate. Yeah, to turn for it. You got a good 50 though, so it's fine. That's just a whiff. That's unfortunate. Just mechanics. Just mechanics. Blake always makes fun of me when I say that. What a guy.
What a guy.
What a guy. It's not bad at all. Not bad at all. I think you could have been able to get to the back wall in time and tried to get a touch that way instead. This is fine. It's just a little bit harder. But you manage it, so it's all good. All right, just rotate out at this point. Good. I think you hit the brakes a little bit here. Like, you should just rotate out at this point. And you missed that boost pad for one. For two, you kind of hit the brakes and kill all your momentum. That I think that's the biggest part, too. And then, like, you use a lot of your boost to get back into there. Right here, once you get this boost, Witch Doctor, you need to turn left. And you need to go towards that back post. You cannot go in like this. Yeah, it's just too awkward. You got to go towards that back post as soon as possible. And right after you get this boost is as soon as possible. I think either, like, for Netorix here, you needed to go right here. Like, this point you needed to go, or you needed to wait. I think you just decided way too late to finally go for this ball. Nobody should go for this. You guys should get defense. I guess I should take that back. Not nobody. Witch Doctor has momentum, and he's on the ball too, so it's fine for him to go here. Because he is first, and he does get the beat too. So if we look at the positioning here, Boltz is actually in a pretty good spot. Because if he cuts in, it's going to be going towards the back wall. So this is a good spot to be. And then for Netorix, you're in a pretty decent spot as well. I would prefer a little bit more this way, a little bit more towards the back post, but overall, this is a good spot. Nice, read that. This could have been a touch off the backboard. Unfortunately, it's just a little bit off, which that's just mechanics, but you can still get a good read here. That is actually super unlucky, because if it went off the corner, it would have been a good play. But yeah, I think once it bounces up like this, you just need to cut your losses and head out. Don't keep going for it here. And now Boltz can go for it. Nice. Again, another good. It was a good try. I like all that. That was a good try.
We almost had him there.
Yeah, you did. You were pretty close. You guys were all pretty close there. Played that defense really well. Ooh, okay, let's see this. I turn off ball cam a little bit sooner to try to line up the flip with the boost, and then you can turn it back on.
Right.
I don't know if it's a replay glitch or not, if the boost is actually there. We're going to assume it is there.
It might be.
Because if it was there, you missed it. If it isn't there, and actually even if it was there, you shouldn't be turning for any of these. I think you should have left a while ago, personally.
Grab that mid boost, probably.
Yeah. And actually, now that I look at it, it is 0 seconds right now, so maybe it's actually not the worst thing in the world. So if it's 0 seconds, like, that's maybe a little bit more acceptable. So I won't worry about that too much.
Okay.
I wasn't paying attention. I didn't notice it was 0 seconds. I do like the attempt at a kickoff play here.
I just messed this one up. I got confused for some reason. I was supposed to be up on the sidewall already.
Were you supposed to? Were you supposed to go left or right?
I was supposed to be upfield for this one, I think.
Huh.
When we called it. At least I'm pretty sure. I've only done this 1 and 2s.
I mean,
so I wasn't exactly sure.
Yeah, the way that I see it, I mean, for one, I think Witch Doctor needed a hit that was higher up, and then whoever was on the wall, whether it was Netorix or you, I think if it was a little bit higher up, you would have been able to get there. But I think the first mistake that comes from this right now is this turn here, and I think you might have missed boost as well, and they end up stealing it from you. So this turn here is pretty bad. Instead, you should just cut your losses, go back instead. I don't know if this boost would have spawned. Probably not, but cut your losses at that point, go back.
Right.
Yeah, unfortunately, this kickoff just really, really backfired for you guys because, like, Witch Doctor 0 boost, Notorix has full boost, Bolts is 0 boost, but Notorix ends up whiffing. And from there, now you guys are both 0 boost, and you're back alone against 3 other people.
I think this was just like the miscommunication from me on this one. So
Yeah, I don't personally know how you guys set up your kickoffs.
So we usually have just one person go, one person grab boost, and one person cheat up.
Yeah.
But for this one, we were just trying to fake it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is a good strategy. I think the only gripe that I would give to that one is gripe even a word? Whatever. Anyway, the only like downside I'd say about that is we're in OT at this point, and cheating like fake kickoffs like that could be very risky to do it in some cases. I would usually leave that for when you're in middle match and you're trying to look for opportunity that way, or if you're like down 1 point and you need to make something happen. When it comes to OT, I'd probably stick with something that's very safe to do, and usually that's a normal kickoff. So unfortunate on that one, but I mean, that's just a learning lesson at that point.
Right.
I mean, maybe it would have worked out. Like, I guess we don't really know overall, but I guess that's just my thoughts behind it. Is that you should just stick with what you know when it comes down to next goal wins. Stick with what you know. Stick with what works for you guys. Leave the things that, like, you're trying to trick them and stuff and all that things for when it's middle match and you need to be getting the point. Damn though.
Okay.
This was a really unfortunate loss because I think you guys had these guys. Their defense was really good though. What can I say? All right, let's head on to the next one. I think I'm going to be a little bit quicker on the next one because we're already at. Is that 42 minutes? No way I've been doing this 42 minutes. Have I?
Maybe.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Okay, if it's 42 minutes, I think we'll just leave it at that. I don't think we need to go over any more than that. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. But yeah,
42 minutes.
Yeah, that's insane. Okay. Sorry ahead of time for you guys who have to watch this later. You guys can speed it up at least. All right, I will end the recording there.